morning. And welcome to Unity of Palmyra. We're centered in love. We embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And boy, was it rocking downstairs last night. Thank you, Mr. Charles, and everybody who helped to set up and brought food. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you. Lots of, we do food. Yeah, we've actually started thinking about starting the Unity of Palmyra catering business. I mean, seriously, since it's like food seems to be a thing that we do. You'd think we were Lutheran. I'm just saying, right? At least according to Garrison Keeler. All right. We are an open and fun and affirming community. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory, and we're so happy that you're here today. We are going to have a wonderful day with Ask the Rev. I will say, please be kind. Some of you say, I've got questions for you, with that kind of arched eyebrow kind of look. And that's a little scary, but you know, we'll hang with it. So let's take a minute to just breathe. So much energy moving through. Let's take a moment to ground all that energy to become fully present, to just allow this sweet silence to wash over us and through us and around us. As today we embrace curiosity, being willing to learn, to grow, and perhaps to not know, as we enter into this time together with wide open hearts and minds, so eager and excited for whatever presents itself to us today. And as always, gratitude, so much gratitude, as we say thank you for this time to come apart for a while, to remember the truth of who we are, that we are spiritual beings having an incredibly human experience. More about that next week. Thank you for whatever safe space you are in, whether you are in this room with us or whether you are enjoying this time via Facebook or YouTube. We are grateful. And finally, we are so grateful for one another and for this community so filled with love. And so it is. Amen. Let's stand and sing.
We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. This is the place we all belong. We placed our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. On a journey through the miracles inside.
I love that line. There is abundance in our fellowship. It's beautiful. Let's share together now in our vision, centered in love. We embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And one of the ways we practice those principles is to honor wherever you are in your hugging journey. So I never know what she's doing. If you want a hug, we will bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with a handshake, just extend your hand and we will honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, trust me, every introvert in the room understands. We will respect whatever bubble you create around yourself. Have a great time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Okay, here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Getting that message loud and clear. Getting that message loud and clear. You know, we do have fellowship after the service. Okay. I love us. All right, a couple of announcements. Our prayer chaplains today are Charles Lee and Sherry Free. Sherry's right there, Charles is right there. They have their prayer stools on, and they are going to be holding sacred space for us during the service today.
World Day of Prayer, speaking of prayer, starts this Wednesday night. Gwen is gifting us one of her amazing sound immersions Wednesday evening. You do not want to miss that. It is just mind-blowingly, vibrationally awesome. That's going to start off the 24 hours of prayer, and then starting at 4 o'clock the following day on Thursday, which is actual World Day of Prayer, the Labyrinth will be out, and there will be prayer chaplains here from 4 to 7 to greet you and support you if you want to come in and just sit in the sanctuary and meditate, or walk the Labyrinth in the Rose Room. And then at 7 o'clock is the annual World Day of Prayer service, which is hosted and led by our wonderful prayer chaplains. So, the final announcement, dun, dun, dun. It's only 92 pages long. This is your fall series, Unity of Palmyra. It's called Welcome to Earth, an owner's manual for spiritual beings having a human experience. Yep, put together by yours truly, full of all of the teachers who have impacted me the most on my journey, with full credit and with encouragement from you to explore them more deeply. So starting next week, when you come in the door, you're going to be invited to go straight downstairs. We are going to be holding the services for this series downstairs, Zooming them and Facebooking them, so those of you who participate online can fully participate in this series. And during the service, we are going to actually have breakout groups where you're going to get to talk amongst yourselves about whatever that week's topic is. And then when we come back together, you're going to share your wisdom, because I believe there is so much wisdom in this community. And this way, it's not just me talking at you, yak, 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 every Sunday. Just feeling your wild oats today with that Texas win over Bama, aren't you? Yeah, I see you back there. I see you. Okie dokie. How about those Nittany Lions? All right. What? Yes, thank you. That was my next point. So here's how this is going to work. Seriously, so that it's not, I don't want to review all of the material that's in here every week. I want to get in, I want to do like a 10-minute quickie overview and maybe introduce a couple of things that aren't in this. And then I want to get right into you all discussing it and sharing with each other what you're noticing, and then having plenty of time to debrief afterwards, all right? So we are going to take some elements out of the service so that these don't end up being 2 hours long, because I know how we like to talk. But what I'm going to ask is that you read each week's chapter before Sunday. You don't have to read the whole thing ahead. I mean, unless you're dying to. But yeah, just read that week ahead. And there's also places in each week for reflection. In fact, I call them the reflection section. So there's just some questions for you to think about to go a little bit deeper. And it will also help prime you for the group discussions on Sundays, all right? Because I really want this to be interactive. I want this to be about you and your experience. I'm just sharing with you what has helped me on the journey, but then I want to hear from you. So there are 60 of these in the Rose Room. Now, so we don't crowd our fellowship tables with these. Pick them up after fellowship, okay? They're going to be up here. You can pick them up on your way out the door, and then you'll be ready to go for next week. And I want everyone to take a nice big deep breath. So to assure that we kind of mix it up a little bit, and we're not always just sitting with people that we always talk to in the same seats, when you come in next week, you'll be picking little wooden pieces out of a little wooden bowl that have little numbers on them. That number will be your table. Right? Now let me tell you where that idea came out of. It wasn't just it wasn't just me being evil, okay? Remember about a month and a half ago, during one of the Happiness Project, services where I said, turn to the person next to you and tell them the last time you were really happy. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And then you were having such a great time with it. I looked over at Janie and I thought, well, let's do a little bit more. And I said, now I want you to get up and I want you to talk to somebody that you don't normally talk to and share with them the last time you were happy. The energy in this room was off the scale. I mean, we were looking at each other going, what just happened here? Because you weren't just talking to the same person. The energy got all mixed up, and it was amazing. So see, it's your fault that you're going to be picking little numbers out of the bowl next week. Now, to make it even more fun, you're going to re-pick numbers every week. Okay? So we're going to mix it up. That way you get to shine your light at all these different tables and with all different groups of people. You guys all on board with this? Yeah. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be weird, right, Jeff? Weird church stuff. All right? Okay, good. So if you have any questions about this, you can ask me during fellowship, all right? But remember, on your way out the door today, grab one of these. Misty, now that I'm done, would you read the daily word, please?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Is it on? Let me see. It is channel 2.
Hello, hello.
Are we on? All right.
Apparently you have to turn it on in the back.
Today's daily word is care. We affirm, I am here and I care. Sometimes my heart goes out to a friend or even a stranger who is struggling. Other times, my heart breaks when I learn of another's devastating news. In those moments, I feel the urge to help. I pray, affirming healing, peace, or comfort. I may offer financial support or material goods. I might call on the phone or visit in person. Even so, I may feel my efforts are not enough, especially when needs are great. But the impulse to care is in many people, the activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my effort with theirs, I trust we can lift up even the most dire situation. I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. And from 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. So deeply do we care for you that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
So this is the time of our service where we share joys and concerns, and we do want to tell you that Elaine is in the hospital this morning. She had a sore foot and got sorer and sorer, and they went to the emergency room and they admitted her and are treating her for cellulitis. So she's going to be in for a couple days. We are just going to all surround her and Steve and the girls with love and healing energy and see her up on her feet again, both of them healthy, grooving and dancing and enjoying what makes her heart sing. So during fellowship today, give the girls some extra lovies, all right? All right. So let's take a nice big deep breath. And let's visualize that golden web that connects us all, mind to mind, heart to heart, center to center. Right now, we send all of our love and compassion and healing energy to Elaine. We surround her entire family with our love, our care, our tenderness. We see her medical team working brilliantly and quickly to cure what ails her, so that she can once again be shaken and groove into her heart's content, living her passion. We also include anyone else in this community who is in need of healing, whether it be from a cold that just won't go away, or any surgeries or conditions. We recognize them as dis-ease. And so we surround our beloveds with the ease, the grace, the health, and the wholeness that is our divine right. And if anyone within the sound of my voice has cause for joy or celebration, we say, bring it on. Send your glee, send your gratitude through that golden web so that we can share it with you. For we know that when our troubles are shared, they are divided. And when our delight is shared, it is multiplied. As always, we remember that together or apart, we are always connected at the heart. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole. When you hear a voice no one else can hear, and it's clear and loud, ringing in your ear, and you finally know what it's time to do, that your true calling, calling you, your true calling, calling you. When your heart's wide open and your mind's been changed, and the dreams you dream are not the same, there's a a gate that's open, you can walk right through. That's your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you. You ask yourself, is this a voice you can trust? You think you can, but you know that you must. You're afraid you'll fall if you let go, but there's only one way you'll ever know. Those wings you keep folded are meant to be used when your true calling is calling you. Your true calling is calling you. You ask yourself, am I asking too much? You think you can't, but you know that you must. When your heart's wide open 'cause your mind's been changed and the dreams you dream are not the same, there's a gate that's open you can walk right through. That's your true calling, calling you. Your true calling, calling you. You ask yourself, is this a voice I can trust? You think you can't, but you know that you must. Just trust. There's a gate that's open you can walk right through. That's your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you. Your true calling, calling you. That's your true calling, calling you.
I love the drum solo. So Stephanie Dabrowski is going to pass the microphone around to anyone who has a question. Well, to the second person who has a question. Oh, Susan has a question.
Okay. How do you answer the question when somebody who knows nothing about us says, what is unity?
Oh, great. Thanks, Susan, for that one. Okay. So you kind of have to know your audience. And kind of feel out how much of a detailed answer they want. Because I have we're a New Thought denomination, we grew out of the Transcendentalist movement of the late 1800s, we teach first century Christianity, we're followers of Jesus, but we don't have a salvation theology. Or you can just say, Unity believes that Jesus was the example, not the exception. And we practice the power of our thoughts. So you can go into as much detail as you want. Don't be afraid to, it's interesting, for years, I remember when I was on the national staff, forever ago, we used to kind of half-heartedly joke about being like the poor cousin at the table, because we're the most Christian of the New Thought denominations, like Science of Mind and Christian Science and Centers for Spiritual Living and those guys. but we're not, because we don't have a salvation theology, we're not really acknowledged by the Christian denominations. So we kind of fall in that middle of, we love Jesus, but not the Jesus that was made up by people. We love the Jesus that tells us to love one another, and that he who has never made a mistake gets to pick up the first stone. Isn't that a powerful one? Yeah. We love the Jesus that is about taking care of the poor and loving everyone and not judging. So you can pick and choose. Right? Yeah, pick and choose. I usually start short, and then if they're really interested, I let them follow up. And then we just answer more questions. I had an interesting exchange last year, or this year, what year is this? With someone that came to the yard sale and was genuinely curious. And we must have talked for 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, everything I said, they wanted to learn more. They wanted, more. And you guys are so cool. And then finally she said, well, who are you? As I was standing behind the sound booth in my Unity of Palmyra t-shirt, I said, well, I'm the minister. She said, well, I guess I asked the right person then, didn't I? I said, well, I guess you did. So, yeah. Yeah, we're not the poor cousins so much anymore because our message has become more and more mainstream. It's interesting. I'm going to go off on a tangent now. That, I know you're all, I heard that, Jerry. There's a lot of talk lately about attendance going down in all churches. Interestingly, especially some of the more mainstream churches. And one of the assumptions is that they're not leaving because they don't believe in Jesus, they're leaving because they do. But just in general, it's down. And I think, and I'm hearing a lot of kind of gnashing of teeth about that, but I have a different take on it. I think our message has become more and more so wonderfully mainstream, right? We used to be an anomaly. And now some of the best-selling authors on the planet are teaching our message. They don't call it that. I mean, have you read Brené Brown lately? Right? So my feeling has always been the important thing is that the message is out there, not where you get it. Right? I don't want our ego to ever be tied up in numbers or it's just if you're getting the message, hallelujah, thank you, little baby Jesus. Right? All right, I'm done tangenting now. Any other? Gwen. Oh, and I forgot to say that Jackie is monitoring the chat stream, and if you're watching online and you have a question, drop it in, and then she'll write it down, and she'll run it out to you, Steph. I forgot to tell you that. Okay. Gwen.
During the Source of Light, we always have animal communicators, psychics, mediums, and energy workers here. We have at times raised an eyebrow in our community for that. And I would like to know how you respond to people when they say, you have psychics in your church?
Interestingly, so it's interesting that rarely comes up with me. Because I think they know what I would say, which would be, yeah, you do too, you just don't know it. Right? Or you don't talk about it like we do, or you don't quite acknowledge as much of the divinity of your people as we do. But I will say, in defense, my closest minister friends in this area, we have very heartfelt and authentic conversations, and none of them are shocked that we have psychics and mediums. And the ones who don't want to have that conversation, that's on them. Right? I think it's it says in Corinthians, the gift of prophecy. Duh, what do you think that is? Right? I think it's acknowledging, that's right, duh. That was emphasis. How can we say that one gift is more or less than another? We have people with amazing gifts in this community, and some of those gifts are a very close relationship with the spiritual side. We live in both, That's next week. Thank you, Gwen, for the segue opportunity. We live in both, so why does it surprise us that some people have an easier time accessing the spiritual realm than others, right? I think it's wonderful. I love it. If you've never been to Source of Light, the energy in this building, Source of Light weekend, is off the scale. It's amazing. Thank you. Trudy, and then Helene. Let's do Helene, because Helene, she's right there, and then we won't make her run too much, just a little. Helene.
When people ask what the New Thought movement is, can you just give me something to tell them?
Sure.
How would you explain it?
That's actually easier than unity. The New Thought community, the New Thought movement, we call it a movement. And unity still refers to itself as a movement, even though we're officially a denomination. The New Thought movement did grow out of the Transcendentalist movement of the late 1800s. And so it was, Whitman and Emerson and Mary Baker Eddy and Ernest Holmes and Phineas Quimby. Don't you love that name? Phineas Quimby. Yeah, we had to spell it correctly on our test. And of course, the Fillmores. And it all grew out of an understanding that our thoughts truly do create our experience of the world. I always think it's funny that we call it New Thought because it is super duper old thought, right? It's super duper old thought. Epictetus said it, all the philosophers said it, Jesus said it, the Buddha said it. The Buddha said it the most clearly, which is with your thoughts you create your world. That has gotten a little bit misinterpreted. It's as you've heard me say before, it's not like if you think of an elephant will appear, thank God. Aren't you all really happy that everything we think doesn't appear? Aren't you happy that there are all those bubbles that appear up over your head? Oh yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, glad we're not telepathic. What he was really teaching and what New Thought understands is our third principle, which is thoughts and feelings held in mind produce after their kind. That is the New Thought movement in a nutshell. That, and now neuroscience and psychiatry and psychology all back it up. That the filters through which we see our world determine how we interpret our world, determine, as Gary Simmons would say, what we make everything mean. So the New Thought movement basically brought that ancient philosophy and teaching into modern times, right? We can sometimes, in New Thought, and it's not just unity, it's all the New Thought movements, we can sometimes, as my friend Maria would say, can metafizzle that, right? That's when we take an incredibly powerful metaphysical teaching or principle and we use it to find a good parking place, right? It's not about that. It's about us waking up. That's week 6, by the way. To the fact that how we see the world isn't how everybody else sees it, right? As the Talmud taught, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. And so if we want to clear our vision, that's week 3. We need to be willing to tell the truth about the filters and the screens through which we see the world, right? So that's the whole focus of New Thought. Everything else is gravy. Who else had a... Oh, okay, she's over here now, Linda, so Trudy.
Hi.
Hi.
So when I travel, I like to go to other unities and see how their services are.
Yeah.
And although it's wonderful, I feel that I miss ours, and yours is so seamless.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much practice you do and how you prepare, and is part of that something that's channeled from you? Like, do you get that, or is it something that you practice over and over again to make it so seamless?
So year 1 I practiced, year 25 I don't. So if you're referring to the actual services, my philosophy of the service is that it's important and it's respectful to prepare. Like you might notice that, Janie and I meet and all the music matches the topics, and we work very hard on creating a specific energetic flow throughout the service, right? That's why they go in the order that they go. And then we leave it open to Spirit. Because I believe the more prepared we are, the more spontaneous we can be, right? Like when balloons don't pop, little stuff like that. Or in one of my previous churches, I was meditating and my eyes were closed, and all of a sudden I heard this rush to the front of the platform because the candles had lit and the flowers on fire, And so we breathed, we let them dose it, and then we went back into the meditation, right? My sense I think your perception of the service being seamless is that everyone who is responsible for the service sees ourselves as being in service. So it's not about us, right? The irony is because we're just focused on serving you, we don't worry about it being seamless, and so it is. Does that make sense? Right? And then the fact that Janie and I can now read each other's minds helps a little bit. It's the raised eyebrow, and right? So, yeah. I've never been much of a practicer because I want to be open to Spirit. I mean, sometimes I get halfway through what I thought I was going to talk about, and something else pops up, And that's more important than anything I think I need to be saying. Does that make sense? Yeah. I will tell you that, and I think Rick and Elaine, you were there for this, my very first talk was in 1998 or 9 at Unity of Harrisburg. I was working with Reverend Claudel County. Charles, you might have been in the room. And I was working as her assistant and preparing for seminary. And she said, okay, now next month on this date, I'm going to be out of town and you're going to give the talk. And I was like, no, I don't do that. And she said, well, you're gonna. And I did. I was a wreck. I mean, there was the sweat pouring down the back and the knees were knocking, and we had 2 services. And so I did it for the first service, and by the second service I was like, this is so awesome, right? Yeah, so sometimes you need a little shove to get to what you're good at. Yeah, but it's not about me, right? It's about you. All right, Linda Longenecker, you have waited uncharacteristically patiently to ask a question.
And quietly.
I know, right? See, this is why we are a community, not a congregation, okay?
All right. Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Good, because now this is going to turn into a long story.
Oh, no. Okay, we got about 5 more minutes, but short story, please.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
try. This is sort of a rhetorical question in a way, and you'll all understand why.
Okay.
Many, many times during the course of a week, I think about and ask the universe, how can we be so blessed here in this community that what sets us apart to have this wonderful church and this wonderful community and the love, the energy that's here. And there's a lot of reasons for that, okay? One of them I want to say, which we all know, but I think it deserves to be said. You are many things to us, but you are our center. A lot of the times, for a lot of reasons, you are our center. And we are first and foremost blessed to have you here as our center, and as our teacher, as our pastor, and we all feel the love you have for all of us in this community. That just kind of goes without saying, but it does need to be said. The other thing is, we are an amazing group of people who are on a journey. We're on a path, we're on a journey where we want to learn to grow, we want to learn to heal, and we want to increase our capacity for love in this world. That's why we're here. And when I ask myself this question, why has the universe blessed us? Because we've accepted the blessing. Not everybody accepts the blessings that are right in front of them. And that's another thing you do for us. You help us recognize the blessings that are right in front of us.
And I bless you in so many ways.
So I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And I don't even want to know your shoe size.
Okay, good. Good, thank you. Thank you. Well, yeah, so it is important not to take for granted the health or energy of this community. Because as we all know, because many of us come from communities that weren't quite so healthy or loving, right? And it takes work. It takes consciousness. It takes paying attention. It takes vigilance on all of our parts, not just mine, not just the leaders, but to paying attention to, are we living our vision, right? Is every conversation centered in love? Seriously, is it? Is every class focused on love and being welcoming and our values? Are we being accepting and compassionate and open-minded and positive and transformative? It takes effort to stay focused on that. But that's what creates the healthy, thriving, loving community. It's just really important that we don't take it for granted, right? That we stay on top of that we all do our own work, right? And that we gently support everyone in doing theirs, right? Because we are very blessed. I also think it helps that most of us have a really good sense of humor. Because once we can learn to laugh at ourselves, we're good, right? Right. So thank you, Linda. Yes, Jeff.
We talk a lot in classes and all the rest about spiral dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
It seems esoteric, it seems academic, and, when at first blush. Talk about, if you would, about the practicality of it, in terms of how what kind of lens it provides us, and how it relates to our values.
So that's week 5. This is awesome, right, Holly? Isn't this great? So why do because I like Jeff, I've been studying spiral dynamics since the year 2000, and I absolutely adore it because it explains so much. And it helps me to calm down when I watch the news, right? Because spiral dynamics teaches us that the problems, the challenges are the hope. Because it's the challenge, it's the problems of each phase of our evolution that eventually leads to the next leap. So I'm thinking we're going to be making a pretty big darn leap, right? So that gives me hope. So that's the first thing. Spiral dynamics gives me hope. It also explains a lot, particularly right now, about what we're going through. Because before every leap in consciousness and evolution, there's pushback, right? And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing it politically, we're seeing it culturally, we're seeing it in our families and in our relationships and in our country and in the world. We're not the only country right now going through this, you guys. We're seeing that evolutionary pushback. But the good news is, evolution always wins. It's just that are we willing to hang in there and stick to our principles and our values in facilitating that next evolutionary leap? And the third reason, is that the third reason? Okay, close enough. Is that it's another way of explaining and embracing our diversity. Because each of us, so this is spiral dynamics speak, but each of us has our center of gravity, or what I call our basic comfort level, in basically one of the various stages, or we call them memes of evolution. And each of them has its own gifts. Each of them has its own weaknesses, right? So this falls under self-awareness. Where do I fall? Understanding that no stage or meme is better or worse than any other. They're just different. And so what are the strengths that I bring to this community based on the meme that I have my center of gravity in? And so that's why we're doing the work with Spiral Dynamics. If you're in the Beloved Community Group, you hear about it every month, right? Spiral Dynamics. Because it's helping us to embrace the gifts and to kind of watch out for the weaknesses of each of those stages of evolution, right? So that will be week 5. I don't think we've hit week 3 yet. Let's see. Lynn.
I always have a lot of questions, but I've narrowed it down based on what you just said.
Okay.
Where would you compare the current spiral here to Corporate Unity's spiral?
Oh.
Well, we all grow. We all grow and we all change, and every unity is probably quite different. I love coming here. You inspire me constantly, as everybody else does, in the love. But that's my question.
Yes. So there are actually, let's make this the last one, okay, so we have time to meditate before we eat, because I saw the fellowship team down there scurrying, so I know there's food. Okay, so there's 2 corporate unities. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, right? There's 2 unities. There's Unity World Headquarters, and that is Unity Village. That's where the retreats are, that's where the beautiful grounds are, that's where Silent Unity is. So that's Unity World Headquarters. I can't really speak to their corporate culture because I've never been intimately acquainted with that one. Then there's Unity Worldwide Ministries. That's the membership arm of Unity, which we are members of. We are a member ministry of Unity Worldwide Ministries, and we do tithe to them every month from here. So that culture I can speak to. I think, how can I speak to that? I think there's a difference between actually being in a stage of evolution and thinking you are. Does that make sense? It takes more than saying that we want to be a second tier yellow. Yellow is the first meme of the second tier, which is the big leap. It is the big leap that we are making now, particularly in the Western culture. In order to make that leap, and this applies to everybody. It applies to individuals, it applies to us, it applies to UWM. We need to be able to appreciate and integrate every one of the stages that went before it. And if we're not doing that, we are not making that leap. The challenge in that leap is the last meme in the first tier is called the green meme, and it's where most of Unity lies. We're environmentalists, we care about the planet, we care about each other, we're open, we're affirming. The only issue with green, Ken Wilber called it the mean green meme, is that we can be a tad judgmental. Now, we pride ourselves on only judging judgmental people, but we tend to think that we are better than all that has come before us. And we delight in finding fault with the memes that came before us. The problem with that is that means we are still firmly in green. And we have not learned to appreciate and integrate all of the gifts of all of the evolutionary stages that came before us. So, in my opinion, that's where corporate unity is. We have been working very hard in this community to actually make that leap to the second tier, to acknowledge and embrace and appreciate and integrate everything that has come before us. And it's hard work, because we like being better than. But there's no better than in the second tier. Does that answer your question? As diplomatically as I possibly can. Okay. That's week 5. Thank you so much. That is week 5. And I am actually really looking forward to hearing from all of you. Because we've had some really good discussions in the Beloved Community Group about that, but I want to hear from all of you. Where do you think we fall? What, in fact, okay, I'm going to give you one of the questions from week 5. What qualities in the memes up to where we are now have we not been willing to accept or integrate? Because any quality in any of those V memes that we are not willing to integrate is going to stop us. We're not going to be able to make the big shift. We call it the big leap or the big shift. If we don't love it all, even the stuff we don't like, we got to love it all. Think of it as cosmic shadow work. How's that, Jeff? Does that work? Cosmic shadow work. Right. All right. Is it okay if we meditate for a few minutes and then we'll go eat? Will you sing us into meditation, please, ma'am? Thank you.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, to serve, and remember. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve, and remember? To love, to serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember.
Let's just take a deep breath. As we are so grateful for the curiosity, the openness, the wisdom in this room. the intelligence, the love, the care. How wonderful it is that we get to practice in this community what it means to be the change we wish to see. We are here to love, to serve one another, to remember our true nature, and to demonstrate that wherever we go. If we want a more accepting and compassionate and positive world, then we need to be accepting and compassionate and positive. If we want a more loving world, then our focus must be to demonstrate loving, not only when it's easy, with whom it's easy, but when it's not. So sit for just a moment in this sweet silence. And know how loved you are.
Love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember.
Speaking of being blessed, our musicians are awesome. So this is the time of our service where we say thank you so much for your incredible generosity, for your giving of time, talent, and treasure to the work of this community. It is so important in the world today to have this little bubble of love and compassion and acceptance radiating out into the world. Thank you.
This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man. When I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand. When the last child cries for a crust of bread, when the last man dies for just words that he said, when there's shelter over the
poorest head, we shall be free. When the last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within. When the skies and the oceans are clean again, we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we all can work from our own kind of pew, we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Have a little faith, hold out, 'cause we shall be free. And when money talks for the very last time, and nobody walks a step behind, when there's only one race, and that's mankind, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, have a little faith, we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, 'cause we shall be free.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I like that a lot better than the song I picked. All right. You got to trust your musicians. Let's stand and share in our unity blessing together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. And I think it's birthday Sunday, since we were at the picnic last week. See, we didn't forget about you, September birthdays, Becky. All right, you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Susan, Becky, Judy, Holly, Elaine, Larry, Jody, Brandon, Joanne. Happy birthday to you and many more. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was made
step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. Stay curious, my friends. I will see you downstairs for fellowship. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Remember, on your way out the door, please grab one of the owner's manuals. Would you guys help me take this upstairs since you have good knees?